see it.
Hey, Dave and Angie here at the Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium. One of the cooler things, and let's just be honest, the way the OU football season's going, this may be the best thing to hit this field all season long. It's the U2 360 World Tour. Thanks to our friends at Live Nation, we had the opportunity today to talk to some very key people of this tour.
That's right. We spoke to the production manager and the tour director. They kind of gave us the behind-the-scenes look of how this comes to fruition. It's amazing. This stage is huge. One of the biggest stages that the tour director, who has done Rolling Stones and some other concerts, he said this is one of the biggest stages that they've ever worked with. So it's exciting.
The U2 360 show was conceived at the end of the last tour, the Vertigo tour. The only stadium we played in the States was in Hawaii, actually, and then we were all sitting down where we were loading in, or just before the last show, and I was there with Willie Williams, who's the art director for the show and the lighting designer and the show designer, and then Bono came in for the last sound check and just said to the two of us, can we play a show in the round? And I think we looked at each other and goes, you can actually do anything you want,
This will be the 39th show of the 44-show World Tour that we've done in 2009. And every show, U2 will change up their set list somewhat. They'll also very much react to their own audience. This was one of a very small number of college markets that the band had long ago decided they'd like to try to visit and bring into. So their show really reacts more to the college crowd and the liveliness of it and the interaction of it. So I think they're going to see a very spontaneous and exciting show for tomorrow night.
Well, once it started, in nearly 5 years ago now, it started, how should we be in the round? We don't want to look like any other show in the round. We don't want to be in the round. We really want to play. They wanted to create a show which was like, did anybody see the arena show? The arena show was a 360 cell, but the stage was at one end. So they wanted to create the same vibe at a stadium that worked very successfully in arena for the past two tours, was selling 360 but not having a stage in the middle. So that was, we don't want to be in the middle. We're in the middle here because we can't fit the other way. The stadium's not wide enough. And the only way we could play Norman, which everybody wanted to play because the band are very into college type venues, is to play it sideways. So that's why you see it's a little tight. So, and then Willie and Mark Fisher, who's the architect, decided if they built something really big, they could make the show, make the stadium look small, therefore making the show more intimate, which is what the band wanted. The band didn't want to be, they love playing stadiums, but they love the closeness of the people in the arenas, and that was sort of the direction given to the design team. And once the design team gets to it with something the band likes, and then it gets over to somebody like me and goes, now take this around the world. So that's the process, how it works basically.
The actual change in songs, maybe 2 or 3, the order will change so that the actual talking that may go between it, the presentation, how it goes, that'll alter a bit. But really at the end of the day, the band is very, very reactive to the audience. When the audience starts loud and energetic, the show goes from there, and it really reacts differently. And a young audience really has so much energy that this band gets to react off of.
I definitely think it's a little space orientated. Definitely it's a little alien, and I think if anybody ever invaded us from another planet, they would land on something like that. Or as the science fiction movies, the 1930 ones, they always seem to land on 4 legs, don't they?
Well, I think the one unique aspect is certainly goes by the name of it, 360. This show plays in a 360 design, and in this stadium, when you actually will look from any point, you see an absolutely massive clear opening into the stage with a fantastic high definition screen in the middle, and from all sides you'll be looking through to more people on the other side with band in between, and it really makes you feel part of a rather intimate experience with a lot of other people at the same time. And that is something that no other show in a stadium has ever really been able to bring to this type of level. The span of this, it was interesting. I'll say this, a year and a half ago, Jake mentioned about Mark Fisher, who's the architect, and Willie Williams, who's the designer of this show. And they said something a year and a half ago that didn't really make sense until we finally set this up. And they said, this stage is going to be so big that it's going to disappear. And I didn't really understand quite what they meant at that time. But if you look at the span and the height, the focus comes down onto the band, onto the music, and you'll look up to the video, but the peripheral vision won't actually even look into the stadium until you look up. You actually will focus down and you forget about the steel structure as big as it is. What the steel structure actually becomes is a very practical part of the show, because it allows, with a 4-foot wide leg, it allows people from a full 360 experience not to be killed, to actually be able to see the show from any position in the stadium.
The tour runs in like 3 factions. You have the advanced steel team, which is the structure, the 4 legs, the green membrane, the little orange things on top. That runs as one, and there's 3 of those. We have one set of production, which is the sound, the video, and the lighting, and the band equipment, and the stage you see being built here, and this main stage in the middle, and then the band run on their own schedule with their entourage. So there's really 3 factions on this tour. So the answer is there's 3 steel structures, 1 set of production.
Well, they don't really need to come too close. They can see this from way out in the streets. This structure quite overwhelms the height of the stands, which is pretty unique. This show, a lot of shows have a wow factor, and I'm going to steal a quote from another person who had once said, this show just simply has more of them. And you'll notice when everyone first comes walking in, they almost stutter as they first catch a glimpse of this, and I'm sure you probably noticed it yourself. You start looking up and you start wondering and thinking, and it gets the imagination going. And everybody, the 60,000 people who will be in here tomorrow night are all going to have that exact same reaction.
If you'd have been asking these questions when we started in July in Barcelona, would have been probably pulling our hair. As you see, it's been pulled out already. But no, it's like everything. We've gotten a lot better from the production end, and we kind of molded as a team. And I'm the guy that gets to sit in front and answer your questions, but really, it's like a coach, you can only coach if your team want to play, and we have a great production team, and we're very excited and very proud of what we do, because we're a bit like Star Trek. We're boldly going where no man's ever gone with a structure here. So,
how many hours does it take?
What, now or then? Or both? Back in the early days, it was like 18 or 19 hours to set it up, and then like 10 hours to take it out, but now it's like 9 hours to take it up, and probably here about 5 or 6 to take it out.
But you're playing different. Again, you're playing stadiums, and their idea of creating a structure that becomes so large it overwhelms the stadium and actually brings the intimacy down onto the stage and takes the focus off of this structure, which is so clean. When it finally raises up, it's so clean and so uncluttered that your focus will stay down on the band. And similar to the indoor shows that we've done on the last 2 tours, it really brings all the music back to the band and the 4 guys on stage.
I mean, the first loadout we had in Barcelona was 14 hours. I think all my staff looked at me and go, what the hell have you got us into here? So, but we're all happy to be here, and we're happy to be in Norman. We're happy to play, some college campuses along the way, which was what the band wanted, with a mixture that, the bigger stadiums of Dallas and Houston, and on our way to Phoenix. And what better place to stop off in Norman on a beautiful Saturday, eh?
Let's see it.